How's everyone?
Good, good.
Good?
Doing well.
Okay, well, how did assignment 1 go? Did anyone get it finished? Saw a few people turn it in on Canvas.
Yeah, I'm still having a bit of trouble, but I plan on getting it done.
Okay. Where were people getting hung up on for assignment 1?
Well, I wasn't changing what was in the parentheses of the first commit, so I commit that 10 times, and it said first like 10 times, and then I realized that.
That's okay. I mean, it's not ideal. It'll still show that you've committed 10 times in GitHub. So you're not gonna like lose points for that or anything. That's okay. The little message in the git commit, it is important in as much as it's there for you or your collaborators to kind of know why you're committing it, right? So if you made some big change to a file, you would kind of describe that change there. In reality, everyone just types nonsense into those because we wind up kind of using Git as a remote save option. So every time we save, we don't want to have to write anything, and so we just kind of put random stuff. But just keep that in mind. All right, what else? Anyone else have problems?
So for mine, I somehow added like a readme file to the end of the name of mine, like a data course, Baker, but like I don't know why I added it to like the name title instead of that bottom section. Because I kept doing it like after, kept adding to the bottom section, so I was like, I don't know how to get rid of it from the name, but.
Yeah, at this point, the easiest thing to do is like open it up in a text editor. So here, let me share my screen, and because that happened to me too. All right. So let's see here. I'm gonna go to desktop. I'm gonna look around for data course, my last name. That's where we were. I'm gonna go into it, and there's my readme.md. Okay. If I look at it, is this what you're talking about? Data course, my last name, hello world?
Yeah, but when I put list, it just says data course and then my name, but like it doesn't have that extra stuff on there. I guess it just shows it on GitHub. So.
Oh, yeah. If you haven't pushed it to GitHub yet, or pulled it back down from GitHub, it wouldn't show up. So this is probably a good way to show you how we can change things in the online version and bring them into ours. Okay, so I do have my URL to this. I'm going to copy that just for convenience. I want you to go to your GitHub page where it's your data course last name. And if you're logged in, mine logs me in automatically or keeps me logged in or something. But if you're not logged in, you'll want to get logged in. Okay. And then basically what we're going to be doing is just clicking on this little edit key for the readme.md. We can edit that just directly in a nice, sane fashion. It's just a little text editor. And then you can come down here and just click on commit changes.
Okay, so will that affect how I interact with the file on the?
On your computer?
Yeah.
Or not yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's changed on GitHub, but if we want the new changed version from GitHub on our computer, well, we have to say git pull. GIT space PULL. I'm going to clear the screen to make it a bit easier. Git pull. What do you think that's going to do?
Pull the file that we're looking for.
Pull the entire repository. Because remember, we're in basically a folder. I mean, I do only have one file in here right now, but if I had a bunch of files online, they'd all get pulled in too. And it gives you the newest updated version that's saved online. Git pull, and it's going to say enumerating objects, blah, 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 and then tell you how many files are changed with how many insertions and deletions and all that good stuff. So
Okay.
that's kind of the other side of using GitHub is, you know, we say git add, git commit, git push, but then somebody else, like say your teacher who wants to grade an assignment, they're going to say git pull. And so on your computer, you can, you know, complete an assignment, make changes to files, all that good stuff, push them to GitHub, and then anyone else with a link to your GitHub page can pull it down onto their computer, which is exactly how I'm going to be getting your assignments and exams and stuff. I'm just going to have a local copy of your GitHub repository on my computer, and when you're ready for me to grade, or it's the due date, I'm going to just pull everybody's stuff and grade what I find from the online. So now let's check it. Cat readme.md, and sure enough, there's that line that we typed online. It's in our file here now. That make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So you might not be doing much Git pulling in this class necessarily. You're going to be the pushers. I'm going to be the puller for the most part, but it is helpful to know that. Okay. Who else needs help with assignment 1? This GitHub account is going to be the basis for turning in all your assignments from now on, so make sure you have it done. All right, who actually watched the Karate Kid clip? Nobody? Has anybody gone through the resources in our webpage? I'm hearing a lot of silence and seeing a lot of just black boxes with initials in them. This is not my ideal of a great time. Okay, we're getting some digital hand raises at least. Okay. So 2 of you have used the website. What have the rest of you been doing for the last 48 hours? Nothing? Y'all can't awkward me. I'm gonna sit here staring at these black boxes for as long as it takes.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I saw
Okay.
it was this weekend. I just had anatomy and chemistry for the first time, so I've been studying anatomy because I'm worried.
All right, so nothing from Chris. Got it. We can work with this. I want to know where we are.
Yeah, I'll be honest too. I
Oh.
took a peek at it, but I didn't get to look at it very much. I got ass blasted with other homework.
Okay. Who else wants to be honest?
To be honest, I did complete the assignment 1, but I haven't really explored more of the class website.
Okay. fine.
I'm gonna retweet what Ethan just said.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the deal. You said you're getting blasted with other homework. Let me add to that, because this class isn't homework heavy, it's practice heavy. And if you're not practicing and you fall behind in this class, you're going to drown. I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way of coding. So, if you get behind and don't have a GitHub account and suddenly I'm teaching you how to pull from GitHub, what do? You're just sitting on your hands at that point. Okay, so practice is absolutely a requirement of this course, just like memorizing is a requirement for anatomy. I need you to be typing on your computer, kind of seeing what things do. The grade distribution for this class is usually bulk A's and then 2 or 3 F's. Okay, there's not much kind of in between. If you follow along and keep up, it's nice and easy to get an A in here. If you fall behind in week 5, struggling to catch up, you may or may not make it. It depends on how much time you have to put in for the practice. Okay. Some of these things need to be muscle memory, and that is why this really is an assignment. I want you to watch the Karate Kid clip. Okay. So this is what your practice is to do this week. I'm not done with the week, so you still have time. All right. Okay. Back to our data course, your last name folder. That git pull, if you run it and it says already up to date, good job. You've got the most recent version from the internet. It's all right. Okay. Let me show you what this will look like on my end for like grading you. I'm going to go to a new folder called data course. And this is my version of the data course, so all the data and stuff on it. And you'll see that I have a folder called student repos. You're going to have a special place in here as well. So I say cd student repos, and I look around. Oh, there's fall 2020. Look around, and this is what I want to see. I'm going to have a folder for your last name on here. So I can go into that, look around, see your exams, your assignments, your final project. There's your data. And I can say git pull, and let's see if there's an updated version. Nope, already up to date. Okay. But that's how I download your assignments, your data, final projects, exams, all that stuff. Questions about that? Why we're using GitHub here? Look, I know this is supposed to be an RStats and like data analysis and making pretty pictures class, and all of you are probably feeling pretty upset with me right now that we're looking at this black box. It really is important because of Git. Okay, that's why we're spending time in here. I see somebody, Eli.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit off topic, but it's with the terminal stuff. So I can like get into all these files fine, but it won't like get me out of it. Like I can't get back to my desktop. Like I did the CD and it's just like not found.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the other reason we're going to spend today still here in the command line, is because that means you're not doing your file paths right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay. This is the normal state of things. You guys aren't computer science majors. I understand that. Okay, and so we do have to start with, this is what a file is, this is a directory, and it's not exactly what you think they are. If you grew up with an iPad, you're going to be really bad at computers starting out because you're used to swiping and touching. So we're going to get you there. To that end, I'd like you to share your screen, Eli, and we'll see if we can't get you figured out. I doubt you're the only one having that issue.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you see it? Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, I sure can. Well, your security and privacy. I see your. Yeah, there you are. Okay.
So if I do something like, if I do like CD and then like desktop, if I can spell it, it's just like no such file.
Right. That means that there is, where you are right now, there really isn't a desktop. So give me a PWD, print working directory. All right, so here's the thing. You are in the root, your computer, that's that first backslash.
Mm-hmm.
Users, Eli Hartong, desktop, data course, and that's where your little like imaginary man, your leprechaun of the command line is sitting currently.
Mm-hmm.
If you say CD desktop, your leprechaun looks around and says, I don't see it. Not from where I am.
There's not a desktop in data course.
There's not a desktop in data course.
Okay.
So give me an ls space dash L. That's listing everything long ways. Okay. You've got assignments, code examples, data course, all those things. So you've got some directories, you've got some files in there. Nothing called desktop.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the desktop in your file path, starting from where you are?
It's outside of data course?
Yeah, you are currently in it. It is what's known as the parent directory. It's the one that's holding the data course directory inside of it. And so if you want to go to desktop, that's cd space ... What does, we covered this last time, what does ... mean?
I missed it last time. I don't know.
So I mean, going back.
It's back one. Right.
Oh.
So here, let me share my screen again. And
Do I have to give it up?
well, I'm sharing it now. You may have to give it up for people to see. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see you.
Okay.
Or I can't see your screen though.
Can't see my screen. Oh, that's because I have to share it. Okay, that should work. All right. So I don't want to get too into the command line realm. That's for my other data class, but we are going to learn a few things, little bits and pieces. So we know ls is list everything in the directory. I can also give it little flags. This like space dash L, that changes the behavior of the ls program to make it list everything long ways. Another change I could add is the letter A. So that lists things long ways and shows all files, including hidden files. ls-a by itself, it'll show them not long ways, but it will list hidden files. Anything that starts with a period is hidden by your computer. Okay. It's not treated any differently other than it's just normally hidden. And so it's kind of the same as going into your file browser, right-clicking and saying show all files. So we've got some weird stuff in here. We've got dot get ignore. What are these? If dot was go back one, any guesses as to what dot is? These are pretty counterintuitive, actually.
Does it mean to like enter the file? Is it just enter dot?
It's a directory. I can CD to it. I can say cd dot. And where did it take me? The exact same place. So what is the dot directory? You'll see this used a lot in R. So I want you to puzzle this out for me. If cd dot dot is back one,
Is it like refreshing the same one?
it just means this directory. It's not refreshing anything. Dot is the way of telling your computer current directory. That's it. Dot dot is previous directory, or like the parent directory. One back, and then dot is right here. So I'm going to go back into data course, my last name, so we're all on the same page here. Clear. Okay, so LSA. Try that. You should see the same thing. Dot, 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 dot get, and readme.md. Let me know if that's what you get. Okay, I got one hand, 2, 3. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, Ethan, if that's not what you get, what do you get?
So going from the README file, or like the
When you're in data course Rosati, and you type in ls-a, what do you see? Or LA. Yeah, ls-a.
second. Was it the ls.aa?
Dash A, just like I got on my screen here.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, that's good. And Heath?
I am in the dentist, so I am not on my computer.
Oh,
I'm just
sorry.
watching.
Okay,
It's all right.
okay.
So go ahead.
Have fun at the dentist.
Yeah, not right.
Well, you know, of all the places, most people would be like, at least I'm not at the dentist, but these students here might be wishing they could switch spaces with you right now. All right. So, dot and dot dot are important. They're how we navigate around file paths in a couple of different ways. So, they let us give directions to files for our computer from where we are, which is really important. Let me show you something. I can say cat readme, and it gives me the output of that readme file. I could also say cat home gzon desktop data course my last name readme.md, and it gives me the exact same stuff. This is an important distinction. I could tell my computer how to spit out the contents of this particular file in 2 different ways. I could say, hey, at this readme file that you see right here, or I could say, hey, here are absolute directions to the readme file. Which one's better?
Well, the first one is just easier.
Way easier, right? Is it going to work on your computer? Yes. If you had this README file and you were in this directory, it would work. How about this second way I've got highlighted? Is that going to work on your computer?
Yes.
That's kind of creepy. You have a folder called gzon.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Then no.
That would be pretty creepy if any of you had a home gzon folder, okay? This is known as an absolute file path. It's directions from the root, that's that first backslash there, to home, gzon, desktop, data course, my last name, readme.md. That is absolute file path. It's not a great way of doing things typically.
Would we be able to pull that?
No. It wouldn't work because you don't have this address. You don't, this is actually, you can read this, and you should, like a set of directions. Turn right, turn left, go forward 10 feet. You're giving your computer directions to this README file. Right? There's a program called cat, and it wants the name of a file and directions to a file, and it's just going to stick them up on the screen for you. I gave it absolute directions to this file, but they only exist on my computer. Okay.
So
it's
if we
not,
were to do,
what's that?
so if we were to do this like using our own last name or our own like I guess file directory, would this still work though?
You'd have to have a special path on there, yeah, but
Okay.
there's no way that your computer has home gzon desktop data course my last name readme. You'd have to change the whole path. You
Okay.
could do that. You really could. If you do that in an assignment in this class, you get a 0 on the assignment because it won't work on my computer. So I will not be able to run your code on my computer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. But if you do it this way, directions to the files from where you are, as long as I have that folder, your data course, it's golden.
Okay.
It's gonna run. Let me show you maybe another example. I'll go back to the previous students. So I'll pick on Leila again. So I look around here, okay. So assignments, CD assignment, let's just say 3, or wait, I guess 2 is the one. Okay, so any code that's run from here, as long as the directions to the files start from that spot, it's going to work on anyone's computer as long as they have your GitHub repository. Okay. All right, so here's an R script from this student. Let's see. May look confusing, but let's look for a file path. I don't see any yet. There it is. All right, so he's using some R code to export a JPEG image, all right, a plot here, and it's called exampleplot.jpeg. What did he do right there in that highlighted bit? The dot slash. What's that telling the computer?
To put it where he is in that directory?
That's it. Yeah. He's saying, put it right here and call it exampleplot.jpeg. Okay. Let's see. Well, there it is. Exampleplot.jpeg, right where he is. This works on anyone's computer as long as they have a terminal set up and they've cloned your Git repository, right? So they've got a copy of your Git repository. They pull the latest version of it with git pull. Great, we're already up to date. All this code is actually going to work. Okay. Let's see this plot. Oh, it's beautiful. Okay.
Should
So
that
this
should that assignment folder be in our data course? Because I think the assignment had us put it on our desktop.
Oh, for the assignment 1, it's basically making the data course
Yeah,
folder
but we
on your
downloaded
desktop.
that assignment stuff. Yeah, the data course.
Yeah, and
Is
you
that
stick that
supposed-
on your desktop.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you copy it over right soon.
Okay.
As soon as we are clear on file paths. Okay. Because remember, you're right. We do have a couple directories here. Maybe this is easier to show on. All right, so you should have data course because you cloned mine, remember? And then you should have data course with your last name. Okay, in this case, my last name. I'm going to delete this one just to be less confusing. All right, so we've got on my desktop, I've got data course and data course Rosati or Part2, right? My dog just farted really loudly. Okay. And what we want to do is copy some of the contents from my folder into yours. That make sense? Why would we do that? What contents might we copy? So here's data course. Assignments, code examples, data, exercises, read. What do you want?
We want our assignments there so you can pull them.
Absolutely. Okay, so you may want a local copy of the syllabus too. It's up to you. The things that you need to have are your assignments and data. Okay. So let's do that. Let's copy. I'm going to go back up to my desktop. I'm going to go into data course, my last name, back to where we were. Okay. I look around. We've got a readme.md. Without typing this in just yet, let me clear. I'll show you my path here. Okay. Moment of truth. What does this command do if CP is copy?
Is that like go back to data course, get the assignments and put it here?
It is. We're going back one to our desktop. We're going forward into data course, and we're taking the assignments folder that was found in there, and we're copying it to here. Okay. If this is blowing your mind and you're struggling with it, you need to practice or you're going to die next week. Okay. As of next week, I'm going to assume you understand how to read file paths. Okay. Good on that? That means like an hour of moving things around and copying. I'll show you how to practice. Copy that here, and I got an error. R not specified omitting directory. So I'm going to hit the up key, come in here. I genuinely did forget this. To copy recursively, meaning everything within that directory. So copy R, data course assignments. Okay. So this only works if data course and data course your last name are in the same folder, like desktop. Okay. Otherwise, you'd have to give it directions to where the data course assignment is. That's why I like to keep everything on the desktop for you. So done. So now, if I come in here, look at data course my last name, I've got assignments. And there they are. Okay. Somebody tell me how to copy all the data. To data course your last name.
So
And you-
if you press the up arrow, it'll pull up the last thing and just replace assignments with the word data.
That's an easy way. Yeah, I like that. I'm just going to type a capital D and hit tab. Yep. Done. Okay, so we copied that folder and all of its subdirectories and all that into our data course now. So I look around, I've got assignments, I've got data, and I've got a README little markdown file. Okay. Let's talk. Data course, your last name. There it is. We got a bunch of data. So now you have it all in your file or your directory. I would like you to push that to GitHub. Somebody walk me through this. You've already done this 10 times at least. Git status tells me that there's a bunch of stuff. 2 new folders. Maybe 10 times wasn't enough. Should I make it 100?
Would you just git push the whole like data course heart tongue file?
Do we need it to add the README first and then commit it and push it?
Commit, add, commit, push. Add, commit, push. Add, commit, push. Git, add, assignments, and data. Done. So now when I say git status, whoa! Here's all these new files that Git is now tracking. It knows about them now, and it's going to pay attention. And that is a bunch of files. We're not even going to make it to, there it is, okay. Great, okay. Now what? This shouldn't be a trick question for you at this point. If it is, you need to practice. Maybe do it another 30 times. Add, commit, push. We just did add. So what comes next?
Commit.
How do I type that?
Git -m commit.
Negative.
It's commit -m, isn't it?
Get used to this. Okay. Git commit m. What's my message? Added data files. Great. Then what?
Git push.
Asking for my username and my password. Okay, so now when I go to your GitHub repositories online, you should have a folder called data. It's got a bunch of stuff in it. Okay, this is going to take a second to upload because it's quite a bit. Okay. So while that's uploading for me, what questions do you have about this process, or what we just did, or file paths?
So I tried to do the git add for the assignments in data, and it said assignments didn't match any files.
Are you sure you spelled assignments right?
I thought so.
Capital A and everything? Is it there in your data course directory?
Yeah, but they're not in one file. It split them up into the 10 files.
Oh, so you have like a bunch of different directories?
Yeah, so in my data course, like Hardtongue, I have like the README and then I assignment 1 through 10, all in different folders.
Okay, well, let me show you. So you have like this, basically?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, back one.
All right, so if I were to cut those, paste them here, basically just make a new directory that's called assignments.
And then put them all in there.
Copy and stick them in there. Yeah.
Okay.
That should work for you. And do you have the data directory also? Did that one come out right?
I've got the same thing for the data, so I'll just do that for the data too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyone else with issues or questions? This is the time to get your questions cleared up, lingering doubts, all that kind of stuff.
So I kind of had a similar problem to Eli. And I don't know so like when I go on my desktop, the actual file, and I go data course, it doesn't say like my last name. It doesn't do like data course Rosati. It's just data course.
You don't have a data course Rosati folder?
No.
Okay. Well, we made one last time during our walkthrough. So you go ahead and do that. Remember that. Have you finished assignment 1?
I have, and it's.
Then you should have
Huh.
data course Rosati. If not, I want you to go to, here's data course my last name. Okay, so go to the online version of it.
Yeah.
All right, find it. Click on this green button called code.
Okay.
And then there's a little clipboard there. Click on that. That's just kind of copying the Git repository to your clipboard.
Okay.
And then in your desktop, let me make sure this is done uploading. Yeah. So in your desktop, I'm going to remove mine. You don't need to do this. So I'm going to delete data course my last name forever. Wait. Okay. So it's gone. So I should be in the same boat as you at this point. I've got data course, but not data course my last name.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Git clone, and then just paste in the URL. Make sure you're in your desktop before you do this. The PWD, make sure you're where you want to be. And then git clone. Hit enter, and you're going to have it back again. This is another major benefit of using GitHub.
Yeah.
oh dear, something went wrong, just clone a fresh copy of it.
Okay.
And again, this cartoon is for real. Like, nobody knows how this works. It's fine. I've only met a few people who are actually really good at Git. Most people use it the way we are, and nobody understands the deeper stuff, and it's fine. If you get errors, delete the project, download a fresh copy, that's Git clone. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I finally put everything in the right folder. So am I putting anything like for the commit? Is it like, do I do like, I know it's like commit, like git commit -m, but like what do I put after that? Because I'm not putting that like quotation first comment stuff.
Oh, so in quotes with git commit m, just whatever you want. It doesn't
So I
matter.
can put like assignments and data in those parentheses.
Yeah, you can say I added 2 new folder. This is for you.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a note to yourself about what this particular commit was all about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't clear on that. It's
No,
because, oh. You've got, Git keeps a log of everything that you've done, all the different commits. And it says, okay, here's your super secret commit number. Here's the author. Here's when it was committed. And then here's what was in your little M quotes. And so if I'm looking back, I'm like, oh man, where was that version of the thing where I added the linear model basic workflow? Oh, there it is. I've got a little note to myself. So that's the benefit of this is you can, I don't recommend doing this at this point, but you can say git checkout and then just paste the first like 8 characters of that, and you'll revert all the way back to that old version. It keeps stored copies of every time you commit. Very, very handy, especially when you're writing code. One day something's working, you save a few more versions of that file, and now it's broken. You're like, oh, where did I mess up? Well, you can go back to a previous version of it really easily. All right. Everyone have at least the data folder in your last name directory? I hope so. I hope your silence is assent, because we're going to go into it now.
I do not yet.
Okay.
So I had to git clone the original data course file, and I just did that.
Okay. So it's still downloading, or?
Well, it just finished. So now I have
Okay.
data course Danes, and I have data course on my desktop.
Excellent. So we want to go into data course Danes. Okay. They're both in your desktop. That's when you do the copy r ... or go back 1, so up to my desktop, data course, data, copy that to here.
Okay.
Did that work?
So when I try to add the assignments into my folder, do the git add, it says that it's fatal and it's a assignments data did not match any files?
I'm guessing you have the same problem that Eli had.
I think
where
so.
they're all scattered. So again, fastest way to deal with that is just go in there, gather them all up and stick them into an assignments folder. Same with data.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, CD data. Let's look around. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay. And we've got 3 directories in here. One's called data shell, one's called fastq16s, one's called messytake2. I want you to go into data-shell. So cd data shell. And take a look around. So in this directory, we've got some files, and we've got even more directories, subdirectories. So from there, go to data, lowercase. Confused yet? Let's look at this file path. Okay, let me know when you're there.
So we should be in this file that has like planet, sunspot, salmon.
Planet, sunspot, salmon, Morse, amino acids. Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Absolutely. Okay, a few of you are probably there by now. Let me know if you're not, I guess. I only see 2 hands.
So I created the one with my last name. I'm on GitHub. When I try to pull it, it says that it doesn't exist, but I have your data on my desktop. Does that make sense?
No. Are you in your command line trying to do a git pull? Or what?
Yeah, let me so I have the data underscore course.
That's okay, that's my version.
And then I have the data underscore course underscore Nielsen on GitHub, but I'm not seeing it on my desktop.
Okay. So
When I try to run it, it doesn't say it exists.
we just walked through this. If you were paying attention to that, we're going to do it again. Go to your GitHub data course Nielsen.
Yeah.
The green code button. Copy it to the clipboard. And then who can tell them what to do next?
Git
You
clone.
want to
Clone. Git clone. So go to your desktop.
So I open it.
Git clone, and then paste in. It should look something like data course nielsen.git
Okay.
once you're on your desktop, and that'll bring it on.
Okay, so it says done. Go back.
Great. Now you got it. It's on there. Go ahead and copy over your my data directory into yours, and let's get going with this.
Okay. I'm not seeing it on my desktop though, my physical desktop. Does that matter?
Can you find it in your command line? How about you share your screen? See what's going on here.
So this, I don't see it. This is data course, correct?
Right. Okay, now I'd like to see your terminal, please. Okay, now give me a PWD. Now give me a CD space ... Okay, so now you're in your desktop. Give me an LS. And scroll up. Wait, back down. I just want to see the contents of this. Okay, so data course Nielsen. You know what you did? You stuck data course Nielsen inside of data course, not inside of your desktop.
Oh.
Okay, so give me a CD data course. Give me an LS.
There it
See
is.
data course Nielsen? Yeah. So now give me an MV for move. And then data course Nielsen. That'll be a capital.
It's case sensitive.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Where were you last time?
Try to pay attention, just kind of.
Yeah, it's case sensitive. Now hit tab. Tab will autocomplete it for you. Okay. Move data course Nielsen. Then you got to tell it where. So hit the up key. Remember, up cycles through stuff. Give me another space, and then ... Done. Now it's on your desktop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. What you're going to love, especially, and I'm not doing this to just be a jerk, but kind of, but also not. It's important. It's that I noticed that you didn't do your last name in all caps. And so you didn't exactly follow the directions of assignment 1 to the T, which means that you get to redo it.
I'm
sorry.
We do it anyway, so.
Yeah, it's good. It's actually a good thing because I think you're going to need the practice, right? So yeah, you're going to be getting onto GitHub, creating another new repository with your last name, Nielsen, in all caps as requested. This is also to train you to really think detail orient when we're talking about coding. Having a letter not capitalized can be the difference between your code working perfectly or your code just doing nothing. A single letter, a single comma out of place. Bunch of this class is going to be getting used to like the errors that we're getting. There's no way that we're not going to be getting errors. Everybody gets them all the time. But you get errors enough, you start getting used to what they mean and what to look for. So things like, oh, I forgot to capitalize, or I left out a comma, that kind of stuff. So I'm trying to get you into that mindset. So any of you that didn't do data _ course _ your last name in all caps, you're going to be redoing it. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at animals.txt. How do I show the contents of that?
You just change directory to it and then do the ls.
Animals.txt.
Could you share your screen again?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I tried changing directory to animals.txt. What happened?
Not a directory.
Yeah. You can't change directory into a file. So what's our command for showing the contents of a file?
ls.
ls animals.txt. I'm going to prescribe all of you 3 hours of practice, actually, before we meet again. Because what is the command to show the contents of a file?
Can you use cat or open?
Cat. 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 Remember that. That pukes up the contents of a file onto your screen. Okay. So what does this look like to you? It's a very tiny file, but it's data. It's our first little data set. So describe what you see in this file.
It's dates that you saw these animals.
Dates that somebody saw an animal. That's my best guess too. I didn't make this. This is data from the software carpentry workshop. So yes, it's dates, and it looks like animal sightings. How are these stored? This is the kind of question you're going to have to constantly be dealing with doing any kind of data analytics. So describe it.
It's by date.
Okay.
And I want to say it's alphabetical, but the 06s aren't alphabetical.
How are the dates stored?
Oh, year, month, day.
Year dash month dash day. How is date and animal separated?
A comma.
Comma. Okay. This is important. All real data in the wild is eventually just a text file. Even an Excel spreadsheet, they may have layers upon layers. It may actually, Excel spreadsheets are technically a zip document. It's a compressed conglomeration of a bunch of XML files and everything, but in the end, it's all still text. Okay. They have some inherent order, hopefully. If you're entering data, you want to kind of keep things machine readable. This one is machine readable. We have a column with date, then a comma, and then a column with some observation, this animal. Okay. So in essence, this is kind of an experiment where we've got a variable here, the variable being the date, and some outcome of that experiment. In this case, deer, rabbit, and raccoon are all associated with this variable, November 5th, 2012. Okay, then the next level of that variable is November 6th, 2012, and you've got rabbit, deer, and fox as our outcomes. And on the 7th, rabbit and bear. I know this looks like Fisher-Price stuff, right? But this is an experiment, and it's the recorded observations from that experiment. This really is data that we can analyze. Now, we're not going to see anything great with it. We're going to use this to figure out how to kind of manipulate a data file, because I want you to start thinking of data as text that's stored machine readable for a computer. Okay, so let's learn a few more of these little commands. Okay, one of them is cut. So we can cut animals .txt. And cut wants a couple things. It wants a delimiter, and it wants a field. What do you think this is going to give? If you don't know, go ahead, type it and find out. We're going to cut this animals.txt file. The delimiter is a comma and the field is 2. Any predictions?
I assume the delimiter is the location where you're gonna paste it, and then twice.
Let's see if you're right.
Just removed it. Well, no, paste it twice.
What is the relationship with this output and our original file contents?
Everything after comma.
What's that?
So are we telling it to cut everything from the comma left?
We're saying separate every line based on a comma into columns and choose the second column. That's what the F2 means, field 2. So how would I get just the dates?
F1?
Yeah, I'm going to hit the up key. I'm going to change that 2 to a 1, and I've got the dates. Okay. If you had a million observations, like this was DNA sequence data or something, you can't do this in Excel. There's no find and replace that's not going to crash your computer. Okay. So big data isn't stored in Excel spreadsheets because they're so huge, there's so much bulk and other junk on them. They're stored in these flat file or compressed flat file formats, very often in this comma separated format. Okay. Excel will actually be able to read this file. Absolutely. If I go to Excel here, Control O, open. Okay, I'm gonna go to desktop, data course, my last name, data, data shell, data, animals.txt. It's gonna say, you want it separated on a comma? Okay, there it is. I'm gonna save this as animals.xlsx and then close this out just to take a look at it. Here's animals.txt, our original. It contained just a few dates and a few animal names with some commas. The entire size of that file is 136 bytes. When saved as an Excel spreadsheet, the same data, exact same, is 4.8 kilobytes. All right, talk to me about this.
Is it bigger in the Excel because it like now has like information about like what cells each stuff is in?
It's got that kind of information. It's got information about font, about highlighting. It's actually a bunch of useless information for most data applications, right? Your statistics aren't going to care what font your animal was typed in. But that's a huge difference. Okay? 4.8 kilobytes just to store 8 lines of data. So it's very rare that we're going to have much big data in Excel format. I'm going to go ahead and remove that because I hate it. Okay.
Hey Jeff, how flat is a CSV file compared to just a text file?
They're exactly the same. So if I cat animals.txt, computers don't actually care about file extensions at all. It doesn't know that txt is any different from CSV or that CSV is comma separated. This is a CSV file that we're looking at. It's comma separated values. Absolutely. CSV files are just text files though, and we give them the extension .csv so that the human who comes to it knows, oh, this is comma separated values. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So you can give a file any extension you want. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna copy animals.txt to animals.pdf. Okay, so shouldn't we be using Adobe Acrobat to open this? Well, in a normal, sane world, yes, because it's a PDF file, but if I cap the contents of that, it's still just a text file. So file extensions are actually at the basis, they're meaningless. They're only there for you, the human, to know what to expect out of a file. Okay. So let's try this cut again. Are we out of time? We are out of time. Okay. We'll save it for next class period. I've given you enough. And keep in mind that I am assigning you 3 hours of basically redoing assignment 1 over and over until you get the hang of this. So next time I ask how to see the content of a file, you immediately think cat, right? This is the Karate Kid clip. Watch it and learn, right? This comes through repetition. Right.
Can I ask you a question real quick before we go?
Yeah.
So when I did my cut animals -d, comma, -f2, I didn't get the columns. I just got this like usage cut -b list -n file. So did I type that command wrong or?
Probably. Here's what I've got. Cut animals.txt space -d, and then in quotes the comma, and then a space -f, and then a 2.
-d.
We'll go over this next time again since we ran out of time here.
Okay. I'll see if I can figure it out this weekend.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll basically next week is our last week with the command line stuff, and we'll move into R after that. And so we've got 2 more class periods to like basically get the hang of capitalization matters, and spaces can matter sometimes, and file name extensions don't mean anything. Like all this new headspace I want you to be in. Computers are strict, and I need to practice, and file paths start from here and can go backwards and forwards. 2 more class periods is it, and then we're in the deep end actually making graphs in R and stuff. And I will assume that you know how file paths work at that point. So practice, practice, watch Karate Kid. I'll see you guys next time. All right. Let me stop the recording here.
Thank you.